What is good, yo? It's V2 here. I'm at work right now. I got time, so back here with another video. The title of this video got me like, really? Tyler, the Creator, is getting canceled. I'd seen something on Instagram about like people are resurfacing to his old tweets. I don't remember specifically what they were, but knowing who Tyler was, bro, it's like, guys, I thought we already knew who. No, I thought everybody knew who Tyler, the Creator, was already. You feel me? I seen Chauncey made a video, but I decided to do a video to Fantano instead. I just haven't done it before. Shout out to Fantano. But I don't know, bro. I don't think it's possible to really cancel this guy because I thought everyone was aware of who Tyler is. Or maybe it's like the next generation that wasn't hip to Tyler and they're like, oh, bro, look at him saying all this and that. Maybe that's the case, but I don't see him getting canceled no matter what is being said. People said he is, but I don't really see it. I know there's one tweet that did kill me though. He said like fuck the black guy from Victorious. He's talking about Leon Thomas, which is a great artist by the way, but I don't know. These are tweets from like 2011, man. But
Unkerthany Plunktano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and Tyler, the Creator, is getting canceled. Oh my god, oh no, not Tyler, the Creator. He's my favorite man. What music am I gonna listen to? So yeah, just in case you guys have not been on the internet for the past 48 hours or so, Tyler, the Creator fans have been having a bit of a rough time, mostly because he is getting dragged left and right, not just for past statements and tweets that he's posted, lyrics that have turned up on older albums of his and his discography.
I thought everybody knew this already.
That, tended to run much edgier than the records he drops these days. I mean, have you seen some of the...
Only on that topic when I stuff you in my system. Okay, I remember this one. This is from Bastard, I think.
It was like old Odd Future bars. They were kind of nuts. Anyway, it's very interesting to see a lot of this discourse unfold because clearly there are at least some Tyler, the Creator fans today who are maybe newer to him and his catalog, and as a result, they're just not really fully aware of the things he used to say.
That's exactly what's happening, bro. To me, I'm 26 years old. I'm thinking everyone knows Tyler since Yonkers. And I think I don't even know what's considered his prime. You could honestly you could probably say like Flower Boy, Igor, period of time. But definitely like right now, I feel like he's probably getting the most exposure ever in his career. And that's a good thing and also maybe a bad thing for the new audience, like the new listeners that are just like, okay, let's go back to his old music, and they're probably listening and they're just like, whoa, and didn't expect any of that, but it's like,
and the lyrics he used to write. Either that or they are now looking at that time period with more mature 2020 vision and thinking, hold on now, wait a second. Now look, I'll say from my own personal experience as somebody who was an active music reviewer during this point in time, a lot of those older Odd Future and Tyler records, in my opinion, were like really not that good. Or in my opinion, they just like have aged horrendously. And on top of that, at the moment that...
Shout out the Wolf album, though. I still play that from time. I haven't played it in a while. Let me not lie, but that was the album that put me on to Tyler. So unique, but
Odd Future was like first blowing up and becoming the hot music media commodity that they were for a number of years. It was very, very, very difficult covering and talking about their stuff, even positively, frankly, because a lot of the time when I would talk about Tyler's or the collective's music, it often would come with like insane waves of hate and harassment, unlike the coverage I would do at the time for any other artist. And this goes beyond your average angry music fandom mob reaction. There were moments in like my YouTube back catalog where all these little Odd Future fans were literally throwing swastikas in my comments over the fact that they knew I was in an interracial relationship. Like, shit was nuts. Put on top of that the sort of stuff Tyler used to say about
Like, hold on, let me see these. Okay.
relationship, like, shit was nuts. Put on
Tomorrow I gotta stay focused and brainwash more people. But fuck, I really hate Wale. So, so the fact that he's right before us on the list makes me really bitchy and mad. Like this, mad. Fuck, I hate Wale shit. Like he was just so like. This is New Year's. He posted that one too. The thing about Tyler, bro, that people gotta understand, at least from back in the day, bro, he was just upfront and just like very ignorant, and he was just the perfect character for like teens or like whatever, like the young heads that just wanted to just be against everything. Like, you know, fuck all the rules. We do what we want. Just bullshit around, skateboard, you know what I'm saying? And that's who Tyler was, you know what I'm saying? He has grown up, he's matured to the person that he is today. And I don't think it's fair to come back to these when he's like probably like 19, 20 years old. And he's just fucking around because it just gets people's attention. Like, people were just messing with these tweets because I think he was just trying to be funny, to be for real.
top of that the sort of stuff Tyler used to say about
Fuck. I don't even know who this guy is.
fellow musicians and artists
Hagen and Sarah need some, wow.
on a regular basis on
I just want to, oh, wow. Wow.
and Twitter and all the headlines about him constantly day in and day out. Like, around the time
I do remember he was banned from New Zealand.
Tyler really
doing
was
something.
like a scourge of the internet. However, that time is mostly gone. And these days when I cover Tyler's music or I see discourse around his music, the reaction is much more sensible. It seems like,
And I'm not going to lie, these are probably not good things to say about people regardless anyways. So I get it. You know,
his fan base has done a lot of changing and maturing and growing. And when you actually look at the man's art, and I think this is, apparent to a lot of people, he has done a lot of changing and growing too. And it's interesting because I think that change and that growth is what has caused a lot of people, when they are going back and looking at his old stuff and maybe catching some of these old tweets he posted back in 2012, 13, 14, it's causing them to just be straight up shocked because they're thinking like, whoa, this is my favorite artist. This is one of my favorites right here saying this. This does not align with my perception of the person I am such a big fan of now.
Yeah, they're probably mind fucked seeing all these tweets like, wait, he said this? Looking like the Mr. Krabs meme.
And I will admit, even as someone who has been covering Tyler and his music for a long time, there are some images and pieces of information like coming to light that I wasn't even aware of because even though I was aware of Odd Future, I wasn't like in the Odd Future trenches like a fan. So to be honest, I was not, stumbling across photos of Tyler in what seems like Ku Klux Klan robes. And for a lot of people stumbling across this discourse and sort of like, adding to
I know, yeah, would have loved that one.
the fact that there were some offensive images that were incorporated in.
That's it. The kid on the internet calls out Tyler Creator for blackface shirts.
Early Odd Future merch and stuff like that. It's like all
Merch is crazy.
all sending a very strange message at certain angles, not because the reappropriation and recontextualization of offensive symbols is wrong or inherently bad for an artist to do, but it's clear the implementation here actually lacks the satirization and the context that would actually educate people on these symbols in a way that actually communicates their history and their impact and their significance instead of potentially desensitizing people to them. I'm not here to say who should and should not be offended by any of this, especially as a white person. Let's rewind for a second though, because seemingly a lot of this discourse is over a tweet, it appears. Not a tweet Tyler quote or retweet, but liked. And it says, Tyler's fan base hates black music despite Tyler himself having a very deep love and appreciation for it. The dude has Charlie Wilson, Erykah Badu, DJ Drama, etc. collaborations, and they still refuse to engage with black art on any meaningful level. Very cannibalistic. And again, Tyler liked this tweet, presuming that he must have, felt this person was saying something valid, voicing a valid criticism. And the responses to this were not great because it caused a lot
And
of
I know he probably liked it, like, funny, and just liked it and moved on with his day.
people to recall, well, aren't things with your fan base that way because you're not really challenging them and maybe instead making them feel comfortable with certain biases around race through comments you have either made in your music or in interviews in the past. And going back to some of these interviews and tweets, some of which at the time I did my best to avoid because, again, I'm sure a lot of older people will recall, but I will say personally, as somebody who had to cover Tyler's music and stuff on a regular basis, this 2012 to 2014 period was just constant Tyler Odd Future inundation. And it was just so dense that you really could be fucking consuming Odd Future related content all day. And yeah, again, many of them have not aged well and honestly weren't really a good look at the time, but I feel like one of the only reasons Tyler skated by was because, again, he was so young when he was saying a lot of this stuff and people chalked a lot of his...
to me, he was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's why he got away with it, and that's why he still kept going. He never got canceled because everyone knew, oh, he's just this young nigga just saying bullshit, and so happened to be, pretty all right with the music as well. So
behavior up to just kind of act
very unique in his own way,
acting out and misbehaving and just not really knowing how to conduct himself in the limelight. That's kind of the thing. I feel like we need to at least a little bit appreciate the fact that Tyler's career and his position on the music scene is just so amazingly unique because not only did he blow up so young, but he did so in such a way to where it's clear he had so little in terms of any sort of filter or control or curation being put over him, preventing him from stepping on these figurative rakes over and over and over. Instead of playing it careful and thoughtful, these offensive elements of his personality and his worldview were instead just made his brand. And yeah, again, it wasn't
because people feel the same way he's feeling. He had that fan base to move forward. No pun intended, the odds were against him. And still he's still doing his thing now. But bro, you have to understand the growth is where what makes Tyler so amazing to me and to plenty of other people as well. The ones that actually were listening to Bastard and to Golf Wayne, everything to where he is now, because it's just it's very unique. A lot of people, if they did the same route that he was doing, probably wouldn't be relevant at all today. So, it's, I don't know, man. If that doesn't justify, you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. Some people are still gonna be mad at it. I get it. The world is way more sensitive than it is, than it was before, but
great. And again, my feelings on much of this is echoed in my reviews of his work at the time because, who is Tyler without the context around Tyler? With that being said, though, with this discourse kind of dying down a little bit now over the weekend, the question is where do we go forward from here? Because again, clearly a lot of people are kind of shocked and looking at Tyler a different way now that they are kind of seeing a lot of this stuff for the first time. And I'll remind people once more, I'm not here to say who can and can't be offended at any of this or, make whatever choice they want to make in terms of whether or not they continue to engage.
I'm surprised it didn't happen already. I'm sorry I keep pausing, I feel but I'm surprised this wasn't being mentioned maybe 4 years ago when he dropped the Call Me If You Get Lost or the deluxe version. I forget if there was a name for it too. But I remember he had a music video where he has all his different personas or egos, whatever you want to call it, where he's wearing the pink mask, I think, and he has the green hat, showing different eras of Tyler, and people didn't say anything. I would have assumed yo, let's go back to this Tyler when he was having the what's it called, the upside down cross on his head. but apparently now for some reason it's a thing.
Engage with what Tyler does from here. But
which is not okay to me either.
But it is still clear as fucking day that this man, the man that we see today, the man who just, dropped Don't Tap the Glass, that is so very clear.
Yep, that one. Yep, that one.
Clearly a different man that we knew when this guy was dropping Goblin. Like, not a completely different person, but for sure a very different person. I want to stress, though, not a perfect person, not the best person in the world, not like, morally speaking, a perfect fucking angel, because I feel like that's an unreasonable standard that we shouldn't be holding anybody to, but clearly still a different person who has done a lot of growing and changing over that 10+ year period. Like, if Tyler's perspective hadn't actually changed on a lot of these issues that he was, talking about in tweets, interviews, so on and so forth, I don't think he would be liking a tweet like this in 2025. So while I think it would be destructive and a waste to basically interact with Tyler and treat him as if he is the exact same person today who said these things just like 5 minutes ago, and I don't think, people need to be banging down his door, begging for him to just like, apologize and grovel on his knees for all of it. If the picture this tweet Tyler has liked here is a perspective he agrees with, sees truth in, personally, I think he should take it upon himself or, just enact a bit of responsibility here in terms of maybe going the extra mile to challenge and engage your fans in such a way to where they are kind of reaching outside of their comfort zones. Look, I'll say in my own experience, it can be difficult, leading a horse to water and getting them to drink because, my entire job is recommending things, getting people to check things out. Yeah, and a lot of that stuff is like very conceptual music, very experimental music, music that has deep roots in Black history. And yeah, unfortunately, the people who watch me, they don't always take the hint as much as I would like them to. But still, you could at least try, and I don't see Tyler doing a whole lot of trying on that front. As far as challenging and engaging with his audience in a way that, seems almost like a little bit confrontational, the most of that I've seen him do in recent years is just kind of doing more songs where he's talking about how weird and paranoid he feels over just how obsessed some people are with him, trying to force themselves upon him or into his life in a way that he doesn't consent to, which, yeah, sure, that's all well and valid and true, but if you can challenge your fans on that front, there are certainly fronts they could be challenged on in regards to Black music at large. So again, while I don't think Tyler needs to be dogpiled on over every single thing he's done or posted or said on the internet a decade.
And I hope he doesn't even, honestly, I hope he doesn't even respond to any of this too. I hope he just continues like nothing happened, because I promise you, y'all gonna be alright, bro, to be for real.
Ago. I do think him and his brand could
y'all probably said some worse shit on your old Facebook pages when y'all was in middle school.
Do with, basically coming out either artistically or just verbally explaining to some of his followers how maybe his views have changed over the years. Because personally, I will say it does rub me the wrong way a little bit when I see recent lyrics or statements from him about, kind of feeling annoyed over being pushed to make public political statements or, stand for a cause, this and that. And I get how for an artist or a media personality doing that sort of thing could be kind of bad for your brand. But seemingly that sort of thing was totally okay with Tyler when it was statements and perspectives that he was giving that were very, very edgy and dismissive. But now that his views have most likely shifted a little bit, he's just quieter about it now. And I presume maybe on some level the reason that is because Tyler could be afraid of even more the fallout that might occur as a result of making his longtime fans feel more uncomfortable just kind of living in these biases without second guessing them. I'll tell you, from my own personal experience, I love making right-wingers feel uncomfortable in my shit. Some shock humor and statements here and there is one thing, but tying it into your whole political ideology is fucking stupid. I'm gonna vote for a Republican because I saw a meme. I would rather...
And people do that.
So again, while I don't think Tyler needs to be torn down and boycotted or anything along those lines, if he does actually feel as strongly as he does from this little like here that people may be, reading into a bit much. Who knows? He could be doing more to challenge some of his more sheltered fans to,
Respond to it in a song, bro.
look outside of their narrow worldview, which I mean is honestly one of the privileges of having a platform. You get to, tell people about things that they might not have known about otherwise. So yeah, if it matters, tell them, shout it from the mountaintops. And I don't know, I'm gonna leave it there.
Shout out to Tyler though, bro. I've been listening to his music since I was like 12, 13 years old. I actually got to see him perform a few months ago. Probably one of my favorite shows I ever went to, like for sure. For Chromacopia, like I think he came like weeks before Don't Tap the Glass. My thoughts on it, bro, simple like this: if God could forgive you, you could forgive Tyler, man. Was there good things that he said? No. But I feel like at the time, he was just a guy that just spoke whatever was in his mind freely, maybe a little bit too freely, but that's what made, made Tyler who he was. And some people would not get that if you just came from like Igor or definitely from Flower Boy. You know what I'm saying? That's when the shift like changed, where it's like, whoa, we didn't know he can make music like this, so that's pretty much all I got though. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. 1.